What's going on, everybody? So, I hope you had a good week with your Nintendo Switch 2. Now, gaming with the Switch 2 for the past week has been an amazing time. It's been almost perfect. I gave it a 9 out of 10 in my review that most people didn't watch, but it might have been because the thumbnail was a little different style than I usually do. I'm just looking for a more clean look when it comes to talking about Nintendo games because they are so tightly knit, tailor-made. Nintendo Switch 2 is so sleek, professional. It's just the best handheld you could use and look good while you're using it. And that sounds stupid because it is. But I'm not here to talk about the positives about the Switch 2 today. I'm here to talk about the two features that the Nintendo Switch 2 desperately needs. And if they don't have these features, it might be a make or break situation for me. Because recently I played a game called Hitman World of Assassination, and I didn't like it. I think the game looks amazing. But even with VRR, there's still a very shoddy FPS throughout my gameplay experience. I just couldn't sit down and play it realistically. I mean, I played for some hours here and there are certain levels that work better than others. But for the important and the opening levels, and some details that I find a bit off, like the fact that the water kind of just looks like jello. It's very jarring to look at that, especially since a lot of these opening shots in Hitman World of Assassination or Hitman 1 through 3 start off with you just looking at the water. So there are certain things that don't make me feel super great while playing this game in particular, and a lot of other people out there are disappointed by their experiences. So naturally, I try to look for a way to refund my digital game. And here we have the first feature that we need: Nintendo Switch's digital game refund system. They need a proper refund system because guess what? You can't refund Nintendo Switch 2 games. And there are going to be a lot that Nintendo probably thought the system can handle from day one, but it can't. Because you know what? The Nintendo Switch 1 had a lot of games that Nintendo thought would work on day one, but ended up not working, like Breath of the Wild. And yes, that's the first Nintendo Switch game that just did not work properly. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to request refunds, especially the amount of people that are going to have a Switch 2. They need a proper refund system. And the fact that I couldn't refund my Hitman World of Assassination game, even after it made me physically sick from all that stuttering, especially docked, made me kind of miss playing something like a Steam Deck where I could just refund the game right after if it doesn't work. If there are any issues, I can let them know. I can report it. Now, we're getting to the second feature that we need: the ability to report games if they have a bug, and specifically tell Nintendo which part of the game doesn't work properly. If they open the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 by giving us information about refund systems and bug report options, I would be way more excited about that instead of game share and virtual game cards. Now, I'm going to throw in an extra feature that I really want, but it's something I talked about before, and that is the ability to have free cloud saves. Now, obviously, Nintendo needs to make their money somehow, and people aren't going to get it for the game chat. But if people get it for the game chat, we could probably see a free option for save data on the Switch too, potentially. But I'm assuming that's the reason why Nintendo is pushing those other benefits. And there are a lot of other benefits on the Nintendo Switch online membership, like getting Sega Genesis games, all these games for free. They give you a ton of games for free. You basically get a retro Xbox Game Pass on your Nintendo Switch. It's amazing. I admit that's great, but also I would have loved if those games could have been bought. I would love to play a lot of those Sega Genesis games and NES games just on the system. That's another thing I would have liked, because a lot of other gamers that grew up with these old NES games would probably love to own them digitally, but that probably shows how much we actually own those digital games. It's just weird the fact that we can't refund this. I guess they don't want to make it feel like there's a tether to the game, but it kind of just makes me feel like there's a tether just one way. Nintendo could pull this game regardless if I wanted to refund it or not. Imagine if you buy 100 games that you don't like or that don't play well on the Switch 2 and you can't refund them. I would probably feel cheated or like something was taken away from me. Yes, my money was. Who knows how long it'll be until your games can't be accessed over a certain period of time. There might even be some kind of tether similar to Steam. Steam has that. See, that's something that I don't like about Steam. The fact that I really don't feel like I own any of my games if something happens to my account. But there is a certificate that gives you about 2 weeks. You only get 2 weeks before they check to see if you have a specific certificate or if it's expired. It's like getting a visa to your own game. So yeah, those would be the features that I want for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think there should always be a refund option, especially for digital games, and that should give the incentive to Nintendo to actually fix their games. If they had a refund option, they would act exactly how Steam does. They would eventually fix The Last of Us over time for every single different type of PC out there. That's crazy. Imagine if Nintendo just had 3 different types of handhelds that they needed to optimize for. Of course, now they have 2, so we're going to see how good Nintendo does under pressure. But I'll tell you what, there are going to be people that want the lesser version in the form of a Nintendo Switch 1 game instead of the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and it's probably not going to play as good as their friends did because their friend had the black one and they have the white one. Those things do look similar, especially to a child, but there are going to be a lot of times where the kid just wants to get another system because of it and they can't do that, so the parent tries to get their money back, but it turns out their kid got fooled sometime around school. So there are going to be mistakes made because kids don't know everything. As the adults, we should demand a refund and bug reporting system, because if one doesn't work, at least the other one will eventually work. Because I was really looking forward to Hitman on the Switch 2, and now since knowing that sometimes the Switch 2 might get the lesser version, it's going to make me go back to my PC handhelds. But of course, I'm just an old guy talking about video games, so what do I know? But let me know what you guys think about these 2 official features that I want added to the Nintendo Switch 2. Do you agree, or do you think it doesn't really need a refund system for some reason? If you don't think it needs a refund system, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you think about the feedback system, because I think if the refund system doesn't get approved, then maybe we could report bugs. If that feature's already there, I haven't seen it yet, because there are so many games I wanted to report on, like Lollipop Chainsaw for the Switch 1, and all I was able to do is make a YouTube video about it, and then ironically enough, after I uploaded that random video, it got an update. So right now the feedback system are YouTube channels. But yeah guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one. Later.